Are you living your life or are you living somebody else's life at 40? The reason I asked that question is that a lot of times, most of us sit down and just live, we coast through life. Hello, I'm Hannah. I'm in my 40s and I'm here creating content and sharing my thoughts and knowledge with those over the age of 40 to step outside of their day-to-day lives and start designing a life of their own, while at the same time, I understand that doing that involves money, and you may be able to get that financial stability from creating content on YouTube like I'm doing and sharing my journey. Now, if you're over the age of 40 and you're yet to ask yourself if you're living your own life or somebody else's, I want you to start being intentional about it. I think your wake-up call will most probably come when you realize that you're living a routine life. And I know a lot of us who live in the Western world have a prescribed life. A prescribed life in the sense that when you wake up in the morning, or you know what's going to happen in a whole week. Let me say it like that, because from Monday to Sunday, you have activities lined back to back for you, depending on your lifestyle choices. Now, for most of us also, we are working, which means that takes a huge chunk of time outside of our lives. So once you can look through the type of life that you are working on, you will realize that you're living on autopilot. You know what to do from every hour of the day, and nothing shakes that routine. But if you then decide to shake up the routine, you're probably taking something out of a time slot and putting something else into that time slot. But that's just the way it is. Another sign you will know that you're on autopilot is when you know that you have a work-centered identity. So a lot of us cannot introduce ourselves without dropping in what we do for a living in there. That's not great. It means you're working on autopilot. Another sign is when you are living and you have no joy. When I mean joy, the heartfelt joy that comes from the bottom of your gut when you're happy. If that is missing, you're living on autopilot. And then if you've got no time for personal passion, you're living on autopilot. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but life is meant to be for living. Life is meant to be rich, not all the time. Yes, not all the time, but for most part of it, we're meant to have this fulfillment. Not necessarily happiness, because happiness is moving from one moment to the next, but we're supposed to be content and be fulfilled in the life that we're living. If you find that that is missing, then you've been living on autopilot and it's time for you to change it. Now, you want to start redefining success. What does success look like for you in your life? Not from what you've read in books, not from what you've heard in podcasts or other people's version of it. Yes, it can be helpful. I'm not going to lie to you, especially if we've got limited vocabulary. You want to extend and expand that vocabulary of what life looks like to you so that you can define what it is for you. And I'll share an example with you. You know that question, what's your favorite color? I don't have one because I don't think I have seen enough colors in this world to be able to pick one above every other color in this world. So I'll say to you and my children and whoever will care to listen, I don't have a favorite color. I don't also have a favorite food because I don't think I've tried all the foods in the world to have a favorite. Yes, you might come with an argument that I should have one out of all the ones that I have tried, but I don't, because that's just the way I live life. I don't have a favorite anything. So I'm allowed to change my mind from time to time. I'm allowed to move from one part of a decade to another. I'm allowed to build more memories because I'm not limiting myself. So those are some of the ways that you can redefine success for you beyond work. Outside of work, what does it look like? Because you keep chasing that dream. When you get to success, There is a goalpost there. It will keep moving. Once you achieve one thing, there's a bigger mountain waiting for you there. It's just human nature. There isn't much you can do about it sometimes. What you can do is to redefine what success looks like for you. And some of the ways that can help you to do that, some of the things that I've done to reclaim what success looks like for me, is to find simple ways to claim back your time, to claim back your passion and your creativity along with your purpose. How can you do that? One, you want to have a bedtime routine for your kids and for your family. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. You need time alone. Once the routine is pat down and everybody knows what they're doing, it frees up time. It frees up mental space. It frees up calories as well. But it frees up the mental space for you to be able to set aside and work on your mental health. Yes. Another thing you can do to redefine success in your own way is to wake up early. I'm not an early riser, but I can go to bed late. So you either wake up early or you go to bed late. The extra time you have, either in the early hours of the day or late at night when everybody has gone to bed, even an hour to two, is really helpful. You want to grab a pen and a paper and define what success means to you. What does it look like? The type of house you live in. What do you have for breakfast? Yes, little things like that can make a world of difference. How do you spend your day? What kind of job are you doing? How many times a year do you travel? You want to start thinking about things like that. What does success mean to you? What sport are you playing? Where are you in terms of fitness and your health? In terms of your well-being, what are you doing? You want to start thinking about things like that and put them down on paper. The next thing is you want to set aside thinking time. So the extra hours you have in the morning and late at night could be your thinking time. Research has shown it that we don't devote enough time to thinking. No, we think about food, what everybody else is going to eat, the washing up liquid I'm going to buy, the grocery list from the supermarket. What are we having for dinner? What am I doing at work tomorrow? That's not what I mean. You need to set time aside to think about your life goals. And I think this is where journaling helps, because those life goals need to go down on a piece of paper for you to know. You want to start seeing life as a vision, your life. You want to start dedicating time to think for yourself. Every day that we go out into the world, we are learning from other people's perspective. Every day that you sit down to watch YouTube on your TV, on your mobile phone, on your tablet, you're gathering knowledge from other people's perspective, other people's thoughts and opinions. It's now is the time for you to start forming your own. What are your likes and your dislikes? Why is it that you like what you like? Why is it that you dislike what you don't like? What does that look like for you? In designing our lives, we want to know what we don't want. I never want to work in a job where I have to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to start racing down, jump onto a congested train in order to get to work. I don't want that. I don't want a life where I'm having to work 7 days a week, 5 days a week. No. I want a soft life. What soft life looks like for me is hard work. It's hard work of dedicated time, of flow, and enough rest time. You want to start designing what life looks like for you. In order to know that, you want to know what you don't want, because what you don't want will help you shape what you do want out of life. Now, the next thing is you have to learn to dream. Yes, it's a skill that a lot of people lost. We lost when we started to grow up. When life started to throw us a lot of these curveballs, and we lost the power to imagine, the power of imagination. In order to dream, I want you to take a few steps. I want you to take a walk through an unfamiliar street in your area. There are lots of it, yes. Take a walk down a street that you hardly walk through. Notice the houses. Notice the plants. Notice the pavement of the road. Notice the gardens. For a moment, just take them all in. I want you to go to a different shopping mall one that you probably have never visited, one that you probably visited last year. No matter how far it is away from your day-to-day life, I want you to take a walk through the shopping mall, a new shopping mall, and see how it makes you feel. Come back home and take 5 minutes to just sit and take the entire environment through you. How does it make you feel? Yeah. I want you to consume something different. It could be a book, a genre that you wouldn't normally read. It could be a content on YouTube that you wouldn't normally watch. It could be a podcast that you wouldn't normally listen to. Yeah. Then if you're over 40, I want you to go on TikTok and go into the over 40 rabbit hole. Go there. Do you feel inspired? Think about the videos that you watched till the end. What made you stay watching? Was it the personality of the person on the screen? What is the message they gave you? Which one would you take away with you? What do you even remember from the content that you could just consumed? From what he or she said, what can you remember from it? Then you can make use of your Instagram, your Facebook, if you have anything like that, or Pinterest. Collect ideas. What does it look like? I'll give you an example. If you're thinking of redecorating your wardrobe, for instance, you would go onto Pinterest and type in probably a walk-in wardrobe, a closet, and you'll see all these beautiful wardrobes that have either been completed or they're somebody's dreams. You can be inspired by that. For you to then bring the idea, turn it into your own, and create a wardrobe of your dreams. That is essentially what it means to be, what it is to be able to learn to dream. You have to step outside of what feels comfortable, what feels stable, and imagine this world that is on the other end of probably a screen of your fear, and think, if money wasn't an object, what would you do? If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? If you knew the world was backing you, what would you do? That's all we're asking you to do. Now, you want to dream a little. Yes, you learn to dream. Learning is not the same as doing. You want to bring this into practicality and dream a little. I want you to just go with a ridiculous idea. If you won £1 million today or $1 million, what would you do with it? How would you spend it? Grab a pen, grab a paper, and get to it. How would you spend it? Another simple exercise you can do to dream a little is to go online and book a holiday. No, you're not going to pay for it. You're simply going to add all the extras, the bells and the whistles, whatever makes that holiday a trip of a lifetime, and just book it. Don't spend a penny, but add it to basket. How does it make you feel? Just dream. Yes. I want you to live your life on your own terms. I want you to be intentional about creating a life that feels like your own, not one where it feels borrowed or feels like somebody else's own. And to capture this, or to wrap this, I'm going to share a quote or a post by Dan, who said, if you're not building something that leads to the life you want, even if it's for only 30 to 60 minutes every morning or every day, you will by default stay in the same life that you're in. You'll be building things that allows others to live the life that they want. So I hope that resonates with somebody.